For Friday's session, I decided to get it done on the plane, and using my little Bluetooth keyboard that connects to my phone, I got 65 words in. For Saturday's session, I wrote 130 words.
I think it's just fluffy. No, it's not fluffy. You're eating a lot of nuts, huh? Yeah? Yeah.
It's doing the thing.
It is
I'm doing the thing.
Yeah, I can see your shadow. Come on, squirrel. Squirrel crossing.
And of course, we had to check out the bean because I have never seen it before. For Sunday's session, I wrote 44 words. For this session, I wrote 89 words. Rain for purification. Knight of Cups. Lapis lazuli. And lastly, wondrous universe. It feels so good to be back home. Chicago in December is a lot of fun. It was so beautiful, but the energy was insanely high. I took a big rest day yesterday, and that helped a lot to reset. But truthfully, I am still recovering from the trip, which was incredibly full. And so processing all that I saw and experienced, and I'm still gathering myself from it. My husband and I packed very light. We both just took a backpack each, and I'm so glad we did that because it made getting around the city so much easier than it would have been with luggage. And I'm proud of how we layered for this trip because I was definitely scared of the Chicago wind chill factor, but we were perfectly dressed for the weather. We walked around a lot, saw a lot, we dropped into a bookstore, and I picked up this book, The Hunger of Women by Marozia Castaldi. I visited Chicago once before. This was several years ago in my 20s, and it was during the summertime, and it was beautiful then, and it was just as beautiful as I remembered it this time around. Chicago continues to be one of my favorite cities in the United States, but I'm definitely not a city person anymore. I enjoy it in doses, but ultimately I am such a homebody. I love being home. I love being in my area where we have the mountain range in view. Love being around mountain air, nature. And while city life is more on the exciting end of the spectrum, I am very happy with the slow and gentle ways of living in a less populated area. I tried a lot of new things, such as writing on a flight in my manuscript, and that was very interesting. I had awesome conversations with total strangers, and I made some lovely acquaintances. I managed to get through a little bit more in Invitation to a Beheading, but I struggle to read. I struggle to read much in airport settings. I was starting to get a little sick before the trip, but I kept up with my Tylenol regime, and thankfully, I think that cured me from a massive bout of sickness. I think it kept my body temperature somewhat stable, so I wasn't in this immense fluctuation. And this is the first trip that I've not been vehemently sick after. So I'm really happy about that. Mind you, I'm still very tired. I've also been up since 3 a.m. because my sleep is still a little erratic, but I used that time this morning to have some downtime to myself, appreciate the quiet, the rain pattering outside. I drank some tea, I journaled, I lit some Palo Santo, and I just indulged in nothingness for quite a bit, and it was so nice and very resetting. And then my husband and I went to the sauna to detox and flush all the toxins from our body from being exposed to a different quality of air, of city air. City air has become so smothering to me. I struggle with it because I'm very sensitive now to the differences between fresh, clean mountain air and then, you know, air that has been just swarming with exhaust fumes and etc. So it was nice to flush all of that out in the sauna. And then I sat to write for my session today in my manuscript, and today I crossed the 20K threshold. In my channel, I talk about writing and the right life and my insights and honest takes. And there's a part of my mind where I'm so excited to be at this 20K mark because I've been looking forward to it for a long time. But I think there's also a part of me that's finding it difficult to be in the fullest excitement because I'm still recovering from my city bender this weekend. I've been very much overstimulated, and I think that plays into my abilities to connect with my natural sense of excitement. And so I do find myself in an odd juxtaposition where I'm looking at the numbers of surpassing 20K in my manuscript and not also feeling as delighted as I would like to feel, and that's just my honest take. I share this because younger me, if I had come to such a place as I am now, she would have scrapped the entire project. But older me now realizes that the right life is full of ups and downs. No matter which way you go about your process, there are always going to be the highs, lows, and the mediums. This trip to Chicago was a little inevitable for me in the sense that it really wasn't an option for me not to go, and I'm glad I went. However, and actually I do want to add a bit more clarification. I did feel inside my soul that I had to be there, and I'm glad I went. However, if it were like truly a leisurely thing where it's like, oh, like, would you want to go hang out in Chicago? I don't think I would choose to do that just because of how much it really just desensitizes me to myself. And as someone who wants to be in tune with herself, it's not something that I would want to do, you know, with my free time. And this is what I've been thinking about a lot, where, you know, I want to be more and more intentional with the choices that I make with my life, the activities that I participate in, and I have come a long way in curating that array. However, I still think there is more refinement that I can do. I think about my experience in the city this way. It was enjoyable, it was fun, but in retrospect, and though this experience was quite inevitable, I don't think it's worth it to go and do these things that create desensitization from oneself. And that's just my personal take, and I'm an introvert and I'm a homebody, but yeah. What I mean is that to have all that fun and then to come home and just be so numb for like the next few days, I don't find that absolutely worthwhile. So those are my takes so far. I still have a lot of processing that I'm still doing, but that's just the gist of it for now. I'm also very sensitive to sound, so just being around that kind of incessant noise of the city, that was quite jarring for me. Not to forget that the airport too is loud as hell, and because I packed light and I didn't bring my headphones, but also I don't want to have to wear my headphones to mute out the world, you know? It's just, I'm not somebody who finds glamour in traveling, and this is definitely a controversial take, but I've never been one who has found travel glamorous. So I'm just putting it out there. It's a necessary evil for me. And I've been trying to think about ways to think about it differently, and I have come a long way in that, but I cannot ignore like how absolutely drained I feel after an experience in the city. And that's where I really find the struggle to reconcile a new framework for travel. I would love to be able to make travel more magical for myself. And I really do appreciate the technology that allows us to go from place to place, but I struggle with it. So I'm going to spend more time contemplating and reflecting, journaling, but that is my recap for this weekend and writing while traveling, and I will see you in the next vlog.